Milsurp Garage with the LCP II. A pretty new firearm for this channel, 2019 production. It's 380 ACP, micro pocket semi-auto, single action, short recoil, lock breech, internal hammer, 2.75-inch barrel. And yeah, the LCP II was introduced in 2016, still made to this day. The original LCP was almost the same, except it was a double action only. And it didn't have a slide hold open on the last round. That's another one of the differences. Other than that, except for a couple of things, like it didn't have the trigger safety, a couple of things like that, it was pretty much the same. But it had gone through some different incarnations. In 2008, it was released. And there was a second, like a second generation where they...
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
We have just received a report that the Ruger LCPII sucks. We repeat, the Ruger LCPII sucks. Let's go out to the field and see what's going on. All right, well, what happened here was I did a whole video on this gun after buying it, and just went to the range with it for the first time after the video to do some B-roll footage of, just to get some range footage of it shooting. And let me tell you, it was having some issues just here on the table with the last round hold open, and I thought it was one of the magazines, the magazine that I had bought with it. And the it seems like newer magazines that I bought were working better, but then they all started seemingly to just, the last round hold open would just intermittent, would work, wouldn't work, and it seemed like it was like a known problem with it. All right, whatever, I could live with that, but then doing this B-roll footage here, as you could see here, is having issues where the magazine just kept dropping. First, it happened like once in the first magazine. Then it happened twice in the second magazine. That was happening after every shot. And doing a lot of research and reading on this gun afterwards, of course, you find all of these things afterwards. This again is another known problem, and they're saying that it's it's easy to hit the button. That's the problem with it, that it's easy to hit the button. So what I did was, I even just saw that just looking right online at the range. So what's nice about the private range, I could just go out into the couch outside, nice relaxing, cup of coffee, watch TV, chill on the couch, and just it's like a club. You just hang out there with the free Wi-Fi and do some research on stuff, and then go back in and shoot again. The research showed me that this is again another known problem, but they're blaming it on it's easy to hit the button. So I held the gun in a certain way. I reversed my angle here, so you're looking at the side of the gun where the magazine releases. I held it with my fingers in such a position where I was not contacting that button, no matter what. And lo and behold, magazine drops. And for a gun this is like a backup gun, or like a pocket carry. You're throwing this thing in a pocket to protect you. You're relying on this more than any other gun that you have. You know what I mean? You're relying on this with your life, basically. And this is totally unacceptable. So what did I do? I went to this company. I want to be able to give them the right name here. It's M. Cardo. Is that what it was? M. Carbo. M. Carbo, and I got their 3 items from them. I got the extra power mag release spring, which is supposed to stop this from happening. A heavy duty takedown pin, and a stainless steel guide rod. So now here I am, another you know, $36.80 into this gun. I already bought from Wolf Gun Springs a magazine spring, thinking that's what was stopping the hold open on that magazine. That was $11.86. So here we go. We're like another 50 bucks in here, and all right, if I could get it to run good with the added parts, just fine. But just looking online, this thing has a huge history of goose egging everyone, and so whatever, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, now back to our regular scheduled programming. It had gone through some different incarnations. In 2008 it was released, and there was a second like a second generation where they changed the trigger, changed the sights. It went through a lot of changes. There's like I think Ruger fans ask a lot from Ruger, and they weren't happy with the sights, weren't happy with the trigger, so they changed it. Then the people that weren't happy were happy, and then the people that liked it the way it was were unhappy. So then they came out with an LCP custom, where they changed the trigger again, and then finally they were like, well, we're just going to redesign the thing. And now they got the LCP II, where they changed the trigger yet again. Well, you know what it is, that they made it a single action, and I think that's what solved everything. I just think the double action only thing, you know, unless it's like a real expensive gun, like an expensive revolver, like these double action guns with these really nice triggers are, you know, they cost a lot of money. These things they don't cost a lot of money. What do you expect for you know, just a few $100? But I think that with the single action like that, you know, it's just gonna, the triggers, it's easier to make the trigger feel a little bit better. Let's put it that way. In April of 2010, when just the LCP, the original LCP, was out, it hit the news because this Texas governor, Rick Perry was his name, he used an LCP to kill a coyote that was attacking his family and his dog while he was out in the woods somewhere, hiking, camping, whatever. And Ruger released a limited run of 1,000 coyote specials, which was funny. See, like Ruger, you never know what Ruger is gonna do. You know, sometimes you kind of feel like they're being very conservative. You know what I mean? And like, and sometimes they do things where you're like, wow, they really did that. They really released 1,000 coyote specials. Like, how you would think that wouldn't anger like the animal rights people. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, good for them. That was a pretty funny. If I was gonna buy an LCP, I would definitely buy the coyote special. But you know, it's kind of cool that they make a lot of changes to a gun like this, like along the way, because then if you don't like it, maybe it would move into an area where you like it, you know, and if you like it, then all right, you like it. So then you have the one that you can buy. Like, so if they change it a little bit to try to be all inclusive to other people and their desires, that's not a bad thing. So, and this is what happened with me, because when they changed this and they came out with this LCP II, that's when it woke me up a little bit, and I started paying a little bit more attention. I'm a Glock fan. I kind of like that it has a lot of Glockonian type features with the extractor and the way the barrel and the way it functions. I kind of like the fact that it functions like a you know, like a big boy pistol here. We got you know, a nice snappy magazine release. We have a nice you know, a nice slide hold open on the last shot with a, you know, thumb release that you could actually use with just a swipe, you know, so like you could, you know, like combat reloading with this thing, you know what I mean? It seems to just ergonomically work well, you know. LCP is light, compact pistol, and that's exactly what I was looking for. I was like, yeah, I want a light, compact pistol. I'll tell you the reason why that this 380 light compact thing is because of the Bayard. And I don't know if I ever really expressed how much I love this Bayard, but what an interesting gun this Bayard is, that for its size, that it's capable of 380 chambering. pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And I love this thing. And I wanted something that's like similar to that, like modern, you know what I mean? Like this is like a nice kind of like, let's say this would be like a nice pocket carry, but you want something really reliable, you know what I mean? Not that the Bayard isn't reliable. Here, I'll show you how reliable it actually is right here. It's it works fine. It's surprisingly nimble and works really well. But still, when you're in a you know, situation where you really need to rely on them and you're not just fooling around, you know, you just want to be really 100% sure. And this is something that you could definitely use as a backup and feel comfortable. So it did have an issue where this was the original magazine I got it with, and the reason why it stays open on the last round, most of these guns, I mean, I never really did an all-encompassing check on every single one, but you usually have a flat part on the magazine like this on the follower, so that as the follower rises, feeding rounds, this comes into play, or when the last round is taken out of the magazine. And it comes into play here by contacting this tab that you see right here. And this tab is basically connected to here. It's connected to, you can see I can move it up and down. It's connected to the, see that? To the magazine, to the slide hold open. So that when the magazine's in here, okay, it would help to put it in the right way. When the magazine's in here and it's feeding rounds, when the follower makes it all the way to the top, it presses on that tab, which is the same as lifting this. You can see it's lifted. Watch, if I take the magazine out, you'll see it drop down. And if I push the magazine in, see, pushes it up. So the magazine, that tab on the magazine, it relies on that tab to press the hold open up to catch the slide on the last round. Well, this magazine wasn't doing that. It's doing it now because I stretched the spring out a little bit, but it doesn't last long. If you load it up and it just, even if a magazine sits for an hour loaded, it just recompresses the spring. When these springs go, you can't just, you know, fix the spring by stretching it back out. You know, if you have a car and the springs are bad and the car's laying on the floor, if you could grab the spring and stretch it back out, yeah, the car will be up in the air again, but in a week it'll be back down on the floor. Once that, you know, a spring, it's wound like this, right? But when you're pressing, it's actually twisting the metal torsionally. It's interesting. The spring dynamics, like engineering of springs, is crazy interesting. When you look at it, you just see a coil and you just think like that's what's making it springy, is the fact that it's a coil. So it's like, how can I explain? So it's like, it's like you think it's like a coil and it's just, that's it. It's like the shape that's making it do that. It's like, it's the shape, but what happens is when you press in on a spring, you're actually twisting each individual coil is being torsionally, the metal is being torsionally turned. And once it's relaxed, you can't fix it. You can only temporarily fix it by stretching it out. Otherwise, you know, we would have spring stretching places, you know. Well, you can't do that with leaf springs, though, actually. You can re-arc leaf springs. But I'll bet you dollars to donuts that a re-arced leaf spring will not last as long as a brand new leaf spring. I'll bet you. I bet you even those types of springs, it's not going to be as good as it was before. But with these small ones, these very thin windings that are in here, I could show you. You know, you've seen what's in here. These it looks like this. So you could stretch them out a little bit. You know what I mean? You could take this top part. This top part is at an angle like that, and it's supposed to go up in here, and it's supposed to push this this part up. So this is the part that's contacting this end. So you want that to definitely be up in the air. So you can take it and take this last winding and bend that out. You know what I mean? So it goes in there like that. And like I said, it will last. It will last for a little bit, but it's not a all-encompassing fix. Whoops, wrong way. I put the base plate on the wrong way. So Wolf gun springs will fix that problem. And just in case, on eBay I found these. And these are, they're all marked Ruger, right? This one was marked Ruger, made in Italy. These two are also marked Ruger, but made in USA. So they do seem identical, though. I don't see any difference. But these definitely don't work. There you go. Who knows? I give up. I give up on why the hold open is not working. But here's all that matters. This mag. How cool is this one? It matches, you know, the pattern. That's pretty cool. And one extra round in here. So these are 7. See, and this one is like religiously works. So there you go. I'm gonna get I think I'm gonna get a couple more of these and just make these my mags, and that's it. They seem awesome. So yeah, so hey, realistic snap caps. Okay? realisticsnapcaps.com. Milsurp Garage is the coupon code for 10% off your entire order. Boom. Here's my 380 realistic snap caps that I've been beating the crap out of for like, this has got to be like close to 5 years now. Look at these things. They're like warriors. My snap caps are warriors. Look at what they've been through. These things have definitely been through the mill. But yeah, let's check out how nice and smooth. I love how smooth it loads. I like that you don't have to fight with the rounds like these 9mm mags. Sometimes you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There you, oh, this one takes 7. That's right. Got to remember that. 7 rounds in here, and plus 1, 8 rounds of 380 in a little teeny thing like this. Pretty cool. The realistic snap caps are cool because you could function test. And you can play to see how it loads, how to clear it if it malfunctions. Is the feed ramp working properly? Is it going to work right? And you can tell that just by running out of steam here. Let's go. Wake up there, Milsurp Garage. Alrighty, where are we? Hey, how you doing, everybody? Realistic snap caps. Let's take this thing apart. We've been there before. We know how to function test. Come on. I don't have to tell you guys what you already know. You got another one in here? No, that's it. All right. Taking it apart. Check this out. Everybody messes this up. They get in here with a screwdriver and they pry it. Look, see that mark there? See that that little bit of damage that you see along that edge? I did not do that. Somebody else did. And you do not need to pry with a screwdriver. Oh my God, I've seen everybody do that. I think I saw Hickok 45 doing that. Prying with a screwdriver. Nope, not necessary. You take a business card. You slide it right in here. Okay? Right behind that pin. You get it in a position where you can both manipulate the slide like this, right? So you can manipulate the slide. You can manipulate the slide and hold this card right there. See that? And then, if you really must, use a screwdriver. Don't know why you'd want to do that, but at least the card is protecting it. But you don't have to do that. Just take a 223 round, put it right in there. And there you go. You're holding it open a little bit. See how I was holding it back? And it just pops right up. Boom. That's how to do that. You can put away the card. You can put away your 223 brass because you're not going to need it again. So what's inside of here? Whoa! All right, what's inside of here? We got a spring in another spring. So we have one of those dual spring setups here. What that usually means is that it makes it progressive, because you would say like, well, why don't you just put one spring? Usually the rate of the springs is different, so that's why you would need two, because one spring might be really soft at the beginning and then get really stiff at the end, and the other one might be have the same stiffness the whole way, something like that, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a buffering system when you have two. That's kind of like how it works. They do sell like stainless steel guide rods for this piece, and spring sets if you want to mess around with like either hotter or weaker ammo. I've seen Wolf has different spring sets that you could tune these if you really wanted to go crazy. This one seems to work all right. If I replaced it, I would just get a factory one because it seems to work just fine. And any Glock fan will be well familiar with the way the barrel comes out of here. And it's the reason why you push the slide back. See this pin? It sits in in here, and it's loaded. If you just leave the slide home and you try to push this pin out, you'll have to pry it out with a screwdriver, and then you'd have to hammer it in with like the back plastic of a screwdriver or a nylon hammer, a plastic hammer. You'd have to actually hammer it in. But even though you're hitting it with something nylon or plasticky, inside you're still pushing metal past metal to move it out of the way, and it's not necessary. Look, there's a hammer in here. This isn't like your typical Glock. There is a hammer. Here, pull the trigger. There it is. Don't ever do that without stopping it with your thumb or something too. It's not meant to like slam home like that. I think you could just leave it down. I think when I put the slide on, it'll put it back in place. But yeah, there's your extractor. I'm sorry, not the, yeah, wait, it is. There's the extractor. Is also connected to the slide hold open there. Quite possibly that whole piece could it be bent? Is it bent up? No, it's not bent up. It seems to just be finicky, but you know what? I bet you when you're shooting, it stays open every time. I'll bet you. But it was like sometimes the hand manipulation stuff doesn't have the oomph. You know, even when you're cycling a gun, sometimes the snap caps kind of get stuck. Sometimes they don't come out of it. But when you're shooting brass, like across the room. So sometimes it just needs to just actually be used. The way it's supposed to be used to function 100% right. So yeah, you get the spring right on there, just like your typical setup with guns like this. And then yeah, see, we can cock that hammer. Now again, here, if you just take this pin, right, and you just put it in here, it'll go down that far, and then yeah, you could hammer it. I've seen, again, I hate to just keep picking on him, but I've seen even Hickok hammering it. I see everybody doing that, like hammering it down. Not necessary. For this, all you got to do is you get in your position again where you're able to manipulate the slide a little bit. You put your thumb on the pin. Watch how easy this is. I'm going to feel so silly for hammering it. Just moving it a little bit gets it to go into there. Now, if I just manipulate, look, there you go. You just find the spot where it's supposed to go in there. There's no need to hammer it. You know what I mean? Yep. I love this mag. Isn't this mag cute? Check this out. What do you call it? It's probably, you would imagine that it's one of its biggest competitors would be, where is it? Where on earth is its competitor? Would be the Glock 42. Look at the difference in size. I didn't even know how small the Glock 42 is. Even with this extended mag on here, look at the difference. Look how much smaller it is than the Glock 42. And the Glock 42 is small. It is small. And so that'll give you some idea of exactly how small this thing is. And you know, when I bought it, I bought it box and all, like it was like box like brand new. And can't seem to zoom out any further than that for some reason. Here it comes with look, it comes with this new and redesigned rubber band, chamber flag, lock, whole bunch of paperwork, user manual. Nice. So here's this little holster that it comes with, little pocket holster, just to show you how small it is. It obviously fits in the pocket holster that comes with it, but the Glock 42 does not fit in this holster. That's so small. It's so small that the holster it comes with will not fit a Glock 42. I bet you somebody at Ruger was like, all right, we're going to include a little pocket holster. You just have to make sure that a Glock 42 does not fit in that holster. You have to make sure. And, yep, it does not fit. It definitely does not fit. So, there it is. One more thing. When I bought these magazines, right, these guys, they come with these different base plates, which is cool. So, I know you saw, I bought these two. And I put the extra finger, I like the extra finger thing on there. Well, how it lays is, let's say, without the finger thing, with me, I'm pretty good. I'm over 6 foot. I mean, my hands are big, so they call it like 2 fingers. You can get 2 fingers on it. You could get 2 fingers on it, but the second finger, if you see, it's kind of like half a finger. It is kind of weird. It's if you only had 1 finger, that's no good. It's starting to not feel good at this point. And when you have that, this one is kind of like half on, half off kind of thing when you're squeezing. It's not cool. But I think for a normal sized hand, they would be able to get 2 fingers on it. But like I said, me, it's really not. It's like kind of like a finger and a half. So this definitely comes in handy for a guy like me. Because now you could see, now and definitely in there, I'm in there with 2 fingers now. And the reason why I like this thing is because now I'm in there nice. I could really get a good grip. Again, that the 3rd finger now is half, but it doesn't matter. If this 3rd finger was underneath, it doesn't really make a difference as long as you have 2 here. But this 3rd one can find a home right there. And I can shoot through a mag like this, and I kind of like it in that your thumb can hit the magazine release and the rest of your hand can pull this mag out. And the same thing when you reach for your replacement mag, you could reach for it, pull it out of whatever pouch you have by the back, these back fingers, you pull it out so you have it here in your hand, and it's easy to guide and go right in and be right on the trigger. I like these. These are the magazines I would want to have, you know, along with it in the other pocket. Absolutely, these guys. It's not so much just for the extra round. It's really just for how well integrated it is, and it looks and makes it, for me, feel that little extra bit of comfort. I wouldn't want it any thicker. I wouldn't want it any longer. But this right here, I don't mind this tallness. If anything, when you reach into your pocket, it just makes it easier to find what to grab onto, you know. So I like it. So yeah, that's it. That's the Ruger LCP. What did I miss? I had a whole thing over here on it, and I didn't even read anything. It's a glass-filled nylon frame, similar in appearance to the Kel-Tec P3AT. That's what it's kind of very similar to, but I don't know what that gun is. So it's it has an identical lock breech mechanism and a similar takedown method. So some might think, like, you know, it's a copy of that gun. But to me, it's kind of like a Glock more than anything else. To me, it seems like that's what they're copying, you know. There's also an LCP Max that they've come out with last year, and in June of 21, and it's a double stack model, holds 10 rounds, 12 rounds in the extended magazine. It also features improved magazine feed lips, feed ramp, extractor, barrel cam geometries, and slide serrations. Tritium night sight on the front, and a reversible magazine release. Sounds like a nice gun, but it's getting away from the reason why I was attracted to this. Because once you start getting into double stack and things like that, it's like, well, the whole point is I wanted thin, small. This is what I was looking for. I was looking for something like this, thin, small. You know, this is single stack. This is tiny. Look, the size. It's the same. You know, if anything, this is a little bit smaller. Don't think this is a 1908 Bayard, okay? This was made in 1911. The Titanic was still floating in 1911, okay? And they were making 380 pocket pistols, okay? Don't say that this is like some modern thing. You know, you go in and you see something like this and you go, wow, look at what they could make today. They had them. They definitely had them, and weren't many in 380. I'll give you that. There was a lot of 25s and a lot of 32s, but they did make them. There's a few. So along with the LCP Max and the LCP, the LCP2, the LCP. Am I saying LPC? I said LPC a couple of times, didn't I? Oh well. Have at it in the comments. Make fun of me. It's really hard to say LCP. For some reason, LPC wants to come out. But there was a whole family of these. There's an LCR, which is a light compact revolver. There's an LC9, which is a 9mm, obviously. And then to complicate things even more, there's an LC380, which is the LC9 chambered in 380. So it's 380 chambered LC9 platform, which, you know, I mean, you might not need something so ultra tiny. It's like, you know, if you stepped up to, you know, the, not the micro, but the mini sized pistols or whatever, it's like, yeah, fine, it's good. Ruger's covering all bases. I like that. You know what I mean? But, for me, I think I'd stick with a Glock for, I forgot what number it is. What is the number? Like the 26 or something like that? It's like 9mm, but small, like that everybody raves about that. I'm sure that would be the one. I don't have one, but I'm sure that would be the one that I would like, because I love Glocks. But when if I need to, you know, like get really small with a Glock, this is fine for me. The baby Glock is all I'd really need to mess around with. I don't need a smaller Glock 19. I just would want like a totally different gun that's smaller, you know what I mean? And then again, when I want to go smaller than that, I'd rather just, you know, go smaller than that with something specifically tailored and made just for this purpose. And then I don't need to worry about like, hey, but if you double stack it, then it holds more. It's like this for 7 rounds. This is a 7+1 for 8 rounds in here, and then 7 rounds for each reload. So that's definitely enough rounds to serve its purpose. Let's put it that way. And after all, it's a backup gun. You know what I mean? It is. It's just a backup gun, or if, like, you know, you're stuck out there in jogging shorts and no shirt on, which it's definitely not happening to me anytime soon. So there we are, the Ruger LCP II. We haven't had a video under 20 minutes in a long time, but I think we've covered it all. I think we've covered it all, ladies and gentlemen. Where have we been? The realistic snap caps. We got some cool stuff coming on the horizon with them. We just did a video. Check back a couple of videos. We just did a video on them with some of their newer stuff, but you ain't seen it all. Working closely with them. Okay, I'm not. I just I made some suggestions and they're doing all the work, but I'm watching closely what they're doing, and we got some new stuff coming up on the horizon to announce, hopefully. And you know, as far as you know, the realistic snap caps front is concerned, we also have a couple of new videos on the way. Stay tuned. See you all later.